welcome back. I'm Tanya from Tanya's Witchy Kitchen, and how are you doing today? Today, I'm going to show you how I do my Lego soap. I'm going to give you all the ways I figured out how to do this. It definitely was a process. So don't forget the chit chat at the end, but let's go check out this real cool for kids and adults Lego soap. Okay, into our Lego soap. So we are actually starting off, this is day 2, but I will explain what I did on the first day. So the first day, what you need to do is make 2 slabs plus your Lego dudes. So my typical, if you have a Lego mold like mine, it holds approximately 1.7 ounces of batter. And my cubes, well, my cubes hold 5.5 ounces of batter. We're not going to discuss what I did with them this time. And my slabs, you just make them the length of your mold and about a half an inch up, or, you got to do the ratios into your mold. But mine are a half an inch big or high, and that it comes to about 6.5 ounces of batter in each mold, okay? And then I let them set overnight, 12 to 24 hours, and then I cut those into thirds, okay? So if you want to figure out exactly how much batter you need, so let's say you're going to do 5 layers, because this is going to make 5 layers, not including the bricks and the people, okay? So if you have a different mold, what you're going to do is you're going to take your length times your width times your height. Now the height is, like I said, for me, it's a half an inch. So it's length times width times height in inches, and you multiply that by 0.554 ounces. Now if you want to convert that to grams, you would take that answer times 28.35. Okay? I know this is, you're like, what? So I get roughly around 6 ounces, 6.25, and I make 6.5 for each layer. Just, don't ask me why, just because it's just easier for me. Okay, so I pour it into the molds. I put it into my, my little guys and my little bricks, and then cut them into thirds and then remove them. If you have a hard time, if you're concerned, put them in the freezer first, and then let them set for a little bit, and then remove them, okay? If you have any questions, put them down below. Okay, and now for assembling the soap. You're going to need enough batter for 3 layers. Now, when I say 6.5 ounces of batter per slab, this isn't oils, this is batter. So when you run it through the lye calculator, right, and you get the batter amount on the batch, okay? Don't run it through the lye calculator and then do a water discount later, because you will discount it. If you decide, I'm going to do 10% discount, you're going to be short. So whatever your water ratio is, make sure you do that when you run your recipe through the lye calculator, and also to see how many ounces of oils you need to make that amount of batter, right? Because you're adding the water and the lye and all the things, right? Okay, so fragrance oil, I think I made these grape soda pop, this time. I like to stick to fruity scents. Kids love fruity scents. Kids they're just very versatile and easy to please. So unless you're my grandson, then he's a sophisticated little kid. But yeah, I like to keep something simple, something fruity, something that they like. And you're just going to bring this to you can actually bring this to a thicker emulsion. Why I didn't, I have no idea, because I'm just soaping here. Now, traditional Lego colors, I think, were black, white, blue, red, yellow, green was the slabs, right? Nowadays you got lots of options here. I usually do a dark color, like I've done when I've done these before. I've done very dark, solid prime colors, and this one I decided I wanted to try more of a pastel color. I didn't do pink. I did do the red, but depending on how solid of a color you want, that's how much mica you use. Just don't go over the recommended amount. So for my colors, for my slabs, my layers, we're not making more slabs, we're making layers. I used, what did I use? I used Trial by Fire, but a light side. I used Climb Blue, those were those two. Lush Green was the men. And then I always make a mix of the bricks out of the first two slabs that I make. Okay? And then for the layers I'm making today, we are using Love of Sunshine, that's the yellow, Brambleberry Orange. I know there's another name for it. I don't know if it's Sunset Orange or what. And then just Black Oxide. And then one at a time, because that's just how I do it. You mix this up, and then we're going to pour. The nice thing about this design is that it doesn't matter if the fragrance oil sets up fast and accelerates fast, or if it's slow, because you can always take it to a thicker emulsion, which I could have done. I just didn't. And that's what's so nice about it. We don't have to worry about that. Okay, now I want you to pay attention, because I'm going to show you the wrong way to do this. Literally, I'm going to show you the wrong way to do this. Do not put these in here like this. Because of how the molds sit and flex and do all those things, I've learned a very easy way to do this, and it works flawlessly. So I'm going to take these out again and show you. It's just, I think I learned it on the second time. I don't think I might have learned it the first time. I have to go back and look at those, how I did them. I don't think I've videoed all of them. I think I've just videoed one, and then this would be my second one, I think. But, okay, so after I'm done cleaning all the yellow off this, what you want to do is you really actually want to stack them together. And they're soap, so if they get, kind of, you just push them, it's soap, it'll stick. But it is the same solid platform I made, right? So this way, and just boom, and just push it down as far as it'll go. Yeah, that's it. And I don't have leaking yellow all over the place. It's just a fabulous trick. And then we go on to our next color, which is this beautiful orange from Brambleberry. And we do the exact same thing as we did with the first layer. And we just, pour it in, clean up the sides, and clean up our work surface, I guess. I'm making a mess. And then do the same thing with the three other colors we have. And why do I alternate? Because Legos are alternating. You build. Do you guys? I'm sure. Is there anybody who hasn't built with Legos? I mean, I don't know. We grew up really poor, but we had a set of Legos. That's crappy to say, isn't it? Okay, I'm so sorry. And so my top layer, which, that wasn't actually how I planned it. I had the black on the bottom and the yellow on the top, but that's okay. So as you can see, it's already thickening up a little bit more because it's been sitting there for a little while. And just gonna pour that right on top and thin layer it out, smooth it out, and yeah. Okay, so for this one, sometimes I will do alternating colors. I will do instead of putting it that way, which is horizontally on the screen, I will do it more of a vertical and then alternate them like they would be if you were building them, on a thing. And this, you're building them. interchangeably so you have different colors. But I just decided, as I was doing this, or when I was thinking about how I was going to do the top, I just decided that because I did a water discount and I only had exactly 7 blocks, that I was just going to give each one a solid block and then a man to go with it. The little guy goes in the front. He kind of sticks in the black a little bit, but just a touch, so he's in there, but yeah. Let me bring you in for close-up. And I know it wasn't really clear, but if you have any questions about, ratios and all that, just drop them in the comments below and I'll help you out. So this is the soap the next day. My edges always do look a little bit rough. If you have a beveler, you could bevel them out. I never do because I don't have a beveler. And this way, it was exactly 1 inch between. I did make sure I had a little bit of, wiggle room between those bricks. If I put them the other way, if I lay them which would be horizontal, so I'd have 2 different colors per brick, then it doesn't matter because you're going to be cutting them in half anyway. But they were cute. They're super cute. Somebody asked me, they're like, why don't you just take the bricks and put them in the mold and make it that way? And all I can think is that would be atrocious to make all those bricks, right? There's no need. I mean, it looks like my orange layer looks a little thin on that one, and the yellow looks a little thick in some spots, thick on top or in the middle, less on that one side. Could be the way the mold was sitting, but I don't know. They're cute and they're just soap, right? They're just soap. What else can I say? Here are the soaps when I first cut them. Remember, the scent is just grape soda pop. And here are the soaps when they are totally cured. Just a little soda ash. Yeah, it's funny because people like to buy the soap, but they don't want to use it, and it's just it's easy to fabricate. It's easy to redo. Don't worry about it. Just use it. I wanted to say something about church because I've been seeing a lot of random posts lately about what you should wear to church and what you shouldn't wear to church. Well, depending on the your financial basis, where you're at, what you do for work, sometimes you cannot follow certain people's protocol for church. Now, my grandpa had one suit that he wore to church all the time, and they called it your Sunday best. It was the outfit you wore to church. Women might have had 2 or 3 dresses, and that's all they really had, your Sunday best. So from there, if you come to my church, slowly things have been changing. Women are wearing dresses more and skirts more, but not everybody is. So don't be all judgy like that. It's just a thing because you want to be respectful. You want to look like you're respecting church. But that's not my point. Great, right? I got this outfit. It's got, these little linen pants that I just love, right? Wore that to church. It's very simple, very basic, yet very respectful. We'll call it respectful. However, I'm going to put this out there. If you don't have anything that, goes with it, Jesus doesn't care. Jesus just wants you at church. I have personally had my son come to a daily mass. It was an evening mass. He just got off work. He luckily had another pair of shoes in his pickup, so he was able to change boots because he had his work boots, which are manure covered. That's the nicest way to say it. His jeans were kind of dirty, yes, and he brushed them off as best as he could, and he had spurs on his other boots, so of course he's kind of clinking into church really quietly. But it's I would rather have him there smelling like a sales barn than not having him there at all. And so if people get judgy, I really don't care. It's my son's soul at stake, and I don't care what they think. So that's what you got to remember. What's more important, somebody else's judgmentality or you showing up to church? Doesn't matter what clothes you wear. Maybe that's all you got. Maybe you got off work. I've seen police officers come into church in full uniform because guess what? They're going back out. God is going to love that you are there, even if you smell like a sales barn, even if you smell like a bakery. And you may think a bakery is great, but I've worked at a bakery and you don't smell like the sweet donut cookies and stuff. You smell greasy. That was, well, of course I worked the morning shift and, we used to fry. So, yeah, I didn't fry, but they did. Somebody else did. But, you're greasy and you don't want to smell like that, or you smell like something else. But you know what? God doesn't care. God just wants you there. So maybe you could save up, and have some Sunday best, your church clothes, and then you'll feel better about going. But, don't let somebody else ruin your soul. Probably not what you wanted to hear. That was my chit chat for today. So I will be honest, sometimes I do get a little judgy in church because of something somebody's wearing, like the little shorty shorts that they wear to volleyball. Stuff like that. I just don't think you should, or a half shirt with yoga pants. I mean, okay, but then I remind myself, I don't know. They might have to leave and go somewhere immediately, or they're coming from somewhere and they didn't get home. Like me, I live out of town. So, but I take it with a grain of salt and I try not to judge, and I just, give them the benefit of the doubt. And yeah. So anyway, 3 things to take with you today. Be kind, be forgiving, and be you. And as always, I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by, and I will see you next time. God bless.